The sound of tearing paper echoed like a gunshot in the silent living room. Ada's scream came a second too late. By the time she reached for her WAEC result slip, it was already in her stepmother's hands, ripped straight down the middle like it meant nothing, like 3 years of sleepless nights, failed meals, and whispered prayers could be erased with one cruel motion. No! Ada dropped to her knees. Please, that's my future. Mrs. Necker didn't even blink. She let the torn pieces fall like trash. That's exactly what it is, she said coldly. Trash. From the sofa, Chinedu looked up for a brief second. Their eyes met. Ada held her breath. He said nothing and looked away again. That moment, something inside Ada didn't just break, it disappeared. For a long time, Ada had lived in a house where silence was more dangerous than shouting. Ever since her father died, she had become an unwanted shadow under the same roof as Mrs. Necker and her only son, Chinedu. The woman never missed a chance to remind her she was extra luggage. Chinedu, on the other hand, never confirmed her existence at all. Not with words, not with looks, not even with hate, just emptiness. Still, Ada held on to one thing: school. It was the only place where she existed properly. The only place where her name wasn't followed by pain. So when she finished her final exams, she waited for that envelope like a heartbeat she was certain would save her. Until today, until it was destroyed in front of her eyes. You think you can shine in my house? Necker's voice cut through the room as she stepped over the torn paper. A child of nobody, Ada's voice shook. My father worked for this. I worked for this. Your father is dead, Necker snapped, and you will follow his footsteps quietly and uselessly. That word landed deeper than any slap. Useless. Ada's hands trembled, but she forced herself to stand. Chinedu finally stood too. For a second, hope flickered in her chest. Maybe he would speak. Maybe he would stop her. Maybe. But he walked past her. No glance. No pause. Just emptiness again. Ada stood there alone, surrounded by pieces of her future on the floor. And that was the moment she stopped waiting for anyone. Days passed, but something strange happened. Mrs. Necker became calmer. Too calm. She smiled more, locked drawers more, whispered more on phone calls. She quickly ended whenever Ada passed. Ada noticed everything now, because when you lose everything once, you start seeing differently. One afternoon, she saw the postman arrive, and she saw Necker intercept him, and she saw the woman sign a document with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. That night, Ada waited and listened. Behind the locked bedroom door, she heard voices, Necker and Chinedu. You will leave next month, Necker said. University is settled. Don't worry about anything. A pause. Then Chinedu's voice came softly. And Ada, silence. Then Necker laughed. She's not part of your future. Ada froze outside the door. Then she heard it. Fine. Just one word. But it hit harder than the tearing paper. Because this time, it wasn't ignorance. It was acceptance. That night, Ada couldn't sleep, so she moved quietly. She had learned something important in the past weeks. People who destroy futures always leave traces. Under Necker's bed, she found the envelope. Her scholarship letter. Opened. Rejected. Stamped. Signed. But something about it felt wrong. The ink was too new. The signature slightly off. Ada stared at it for a long time. Then she smiled. Not because she was happy, but because she finally understood the game. The day of Chinedu's departure arrived. The house was full of laughter, food, music. guests congratulating him. Neka moved like a queen. Chinedu stood quietly, as always, like a man watching a life he didn't choose. Ada moved like a shadow. But this time, she carried something, a flash drive. And truth, when the living room screen flickered on, nobody understood at first. Then Neka's voice filled the room, cold, clear. I made sure she doesn't leave this house. That girl will never rise above me. The room went still. Someone dropped a spoon. Then another recording played. Chinedu's voice. She's not my problem. A wave of whispers exploded instantly. Neka rushed forward. Turn that off. But Ada stepped in front of her. For the first time, she didn't look like someone asking for space. She looked like someone taking it back. You destroyed my result, Ada said softly. But you forgot something. Her hand shook slightly. Then she lifted another envelope. I didn't stop. Silence swallowed the room. And I leave tomorrow. Morning came like a quiet ending to a long storm. Ada stood at the gate with a small bag. Behind her, the house felt different now. Not powerful, not frightening, just exposed. Footsteps stopped behind her. Ada. She turned slowly. Chinedu stood there. No distance this time. No distraction. Just him. For once, he was looking directly at her. Really looking. I didn't know, he said quietly. I swear I didn't know. Ada studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded once. I know. A pause. Then she added, but you still didn't see me when it mattered. Chinedu's lips parted, but no words came, because there was nothing left that could change what had already been lost. Ada turned back and walked away, not as a shadow, not as someone waiting to be seen, but as someone who had finally stepped into a world where no one needed permission to exist.